Okay, group discussion. There's 3 angles here. Who would this title win mean the most to? And Lawrence, don't say it. Don't say it. It would maybe Trent. Yeah. Because there's 3 angles. There's the City angle of the 4-peat that's never been done. There's the Arsenal angle of joining the elite in terms of the, being in those conversations, finally getting over the line. And there's obviously the Klopp final season angle to be taken. I'm sure loads of other supplementary points. Lawrence, I'll come back to you. Who do you think maybe this title, let's use the phrase, and you can unpack what you think it means, most important to? Who do you think this is the most important title for?
I mean, in terms of the moment, I think there's definitely something to be said for Jurgen Klopp. I think, the only team I can make a compelling case for is probably Jurgen, just because I relate to that narrative the most. It's clearly him because there's a final nature to it. Everyone's talking about the last dance. They're all talking about, obviously there's no opportunity to do it again. I don't really think it's Jurgen Klopp, but I think there's a Mo Salah element with that. I think there's a couple of other older players in that team who are probably... I think Virgil maybe has another season or 2 in him, if that makes sense. There's probably a new manager that comes in and he oversees the new crop of players, or kind of sets the example.
Graham Potter will love him. He will love him.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah, and here's the thing. I think that's part of it, is that I wouldn't be upset with whoever Michael Edwards and et al. Richard choose. But I think the fact that Klopp is going, and the fact that Liverpool do want to give him a big send off, you can make the narrative fit that way. I also understand the narrative from Arsenal's perspective, because I think you guys have got a very compelling case as a kind of a do or die kind of thing. And at the same time, I think you could flip that and say they know they're this close. We'll get another run at it next year when we have Timber fully fit. I don't know how many football players think in terms of, though, I'll get another run at it. So, I don't think there are that many guys who probably, even if they were to think that way, I'd imagine there's a sports psychologist who can easily talk them out of that over breakfast,
Yes. But arguably, are there many, maybe other than Bayer Leverkusen, are there many other sort of, let's say, projects in world football that feel more secure that there's going to be more bites at the cherry than Arsenal? You could flip it that way. Bhavs, I've felt like we're in a bizarre scenario, as I've said to you on the podcast, in that it feels like simultaneously for Arsenal, we're trying to compete against the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest manager to ever live, and arguably the greatest club team to ever be in the Premier League. And
thank you.
You could you could look further afield as well. And simultaneously, you could argue it's a failure not to go and do it. You could or certainly argue that there are questions to be asked if we don't get it over the line. Where do you think Arsenal are? And I'm also interested in your thoughts on the importance of this title in comparison to City and Liverpool.
No, any title win is very important, and as an Arsenal fan who's not seen it in 20 years, is very, very important. But I'd still say Liverpool at edge when I was 4. When I was 4. Listen, here's what it is.
There's an Arsenal fan who's never seen it, is what you mean, yeah.
Listen, I was there. I was at Highbury, in spirit. But I still... Highbury. Where is Highbury again? So I still think Liverpool means it the most because of the whole Klopp's narrative and stuff, and I think that the fact that he won't have a shot in it again, it's the perfect storyline for him. And also, if you look in the way of it's the Klopp and Pep era, he needs to have one more. Because if Pep has one more, and you look at the amount of titles Pep's won compared to Klopp, it doesn't add up well in terms of the narrative. And even though we would have seen the Liverpool team compete and would get 98 points, the narrative will be, well, Pep won this amount of trophies. And for Arsenal's sake, look, if we can win a title in the Pep and Klopp era, what does it mean for us in terms of, we would have the same amount of titles as Jurgen Klopp, and how you could run that narrative? Because football is all about narratives, and that's why you see Sky Sports, they'll pit narrative, oh, look at this, look at that. And I feel like us winning a title now with this team that I still don't believe have a superstar. We've got players that are becoming superstars that could become that, but we don't have a Haaland or De Bruyne. We talk about that Bayern Munich moment where we get the free kick, and I think Alex mentioned it. Saka takes a free kick early, but who would have taken the free kick? Who would have been our De Bruyne? Because give me the ball, I'm going to take this. We don't have that player just yet that's established himself. So to win that title in this period where you got Klopp still there, even though his team's a bit injured right now, but he's still at his best, and Pep Guardiola obviously amazing as always. I think it's just below Liverpool. But if we do it, yeah, I think for the narrative itself, it changes everything of how people see this Arsenal project. Arsenal fans see it. Arsenal fans see what we're building and we go, okay, look, I can, even next year we've got a chance. But there is a sense from the outside sometimes, maybe not from logical fans, but people that look at narratives and football narratives that, oh my God, Arsenal are going to bottle it again. And this team is never going to come back again. And, you know, they're not going to have a transfer window next year to improve. You know, we saw it last year. We saw it in the end of 21-22 where Gary Neville says that Arsenal, this is the best it gets. It's over. You know, they won't ever get.
And it's over.
They won't get a better chance ever again. So I think it's slowly changing, and I think a part of that is how we're, attacking the transfer market and seeing Arsenal go and spend, £100 million Declan Rice and looking to do something similar this summer. It's a massive part, but yeah, I think it falls just below Liverpool in terms of importance.
Amir, will Pep just f*** off? Just leave? Just go away?
It's a great question. It's a
Let
great
us
question.
have it.
It's a really good.
Can you not hibernate as well? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Please.
just charge his battery somewhere else. So go to like,
No,
yes,
don't do that.
Yes, it would be
Your
important
energy.
to get a 4p. Oh, well done. I'm really good at
Look
managing.
at them all inclusive. Tell
Grow
them
up.
to Bali for a month or two. Just, you know what I mean?
Grow up.
Pep and Bali's a nightmare.
Amir, does this move the needle for Pep?
It's important, but it's the least important of the three. Like, I think for City fans, like, it's as important as like so many other title wins. But if you talk,
Which of the 7 of you think that?
that's not right. All of the 7 that have won and seen the trophy list.
Is it, obviously we know how good City are, but are you in a sort of place of kind of going, okay, it would be nice to win it, but probably compared to Liverpool and Arsenal's position, it's probably the least important, to win it of the 3.
The thing is, if you're talking from a neutral's perspective, like, for Arsenal, I think it means a lot to win it just because of the fact that it's probably, until Guardiola goes, that like the most clear-cut chance to kind of win it. I think we've had a bad season, as foolish as that sounds. Like, I think we've had a bad season, and throughout the season, genuinely, like the way we've played, I think we've got results, but we've played in a way that has let teams have more chances against us than they normally would. Maybe that's a better way to phrase it.
I also think you've played badly. I think like, can I also just say that I actually think, obviously, I think Liverpool have also played badly at points this season. I actually genuinely think Arsenal are the only team where I look at them and go, have they consistently had identifiably bad traits? And I know you had that bad run, but I didn't think of that as the same as I saw what I thought were glaringly obvious problems with City or glaringly obvious problems with Liverpool. And that changed it for me as well.
I completely agree. And in the sense that the only thing that separates City, I think, from Arsenal is just the sheer quality of some of their individuals. And I think that's a point I've mentioned before. When you look at the star quality in that City side, like a Phil Foden who can just smack it in from the edge of the box when the game's going against him. Rodri doing the same, chipping in with how many goal contributions from a defensive midfielder. Those are the things that I've kind of, ridiculous. Weak foot, like right-footed curler. Like, all of these things sound like mental. And when you look at it, like a game model doesn't necessarily account for all of those things. But those things have like kind of fit, like you sign like expensive, good quality players to do those things. Whereas Liverpool, Arsenal, they've built this team, a really nice project, really like talented players, but they're almost in the model of Arteta playing a quite instruction version of football. Yes. And the instructions that they're like embodying, I think, are the best of any team this season. But it also doesn't give them massive room for a player to kind of break free of that and express that quality. And maybe if Arsenal sign someone 100 million, 120 million in the front line, they'll be given that freedom to express that.